Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. We have a lot of news to discuss today. XRP, Litecoin and over 24 other tokens have been taken off the New York green list for cryptocurrencies. We will be discussing that and what effect that has on the tokens. We'll also be taking a look at some pretty interesting price targets for Ethereum. We're looking up at $6,000 according to some analysts, and we've got some general cryptocurrency news in store today. So make sure to stay tuned until the very end and make sure to hit that like button if you have not. Let's see what's going on. First of all, let's have a look. What have I got on my desk today to show you guys? We've got the socks again, the Bitcoin socks. We're launching a CSE merch store very, very soon. For those of you that don't know, you can get the stocks. I've also got an iced coffee this morning in my CSE cup. And within that cup, there's a logo for Bitcoin on one side and a logo for CSE on the other. Nice cup, keeps your coffee nice and cold. So I definitely recommend purchasing one of those. And we also have some LED Bitcoin lights going live on there very, very soon. The CSE merch store will be live very, very soon. And if you want to get your hands on a free voucher, merch store voucher for the Crypto Saving Expert merch store, then if you go to CSE Plus and you want to sign up to the annual memberships, you get access to some vouchers there as well. So we're looking at £75 merch store voucher for a gift card for the Community Plus members and £125 for premium members. But anyway, I think it's time now to go on to the cryptocurrency news and see what's going on in the news today. It's been a busy day. Let's check that this is running smoothly. In fact, let's set this to public and hopefully we should get more people joining today's stream now. Let's take a look at what's going on in the prices first of all. So let's go to the markets tab of the website here. Bitcoin is down ever so slightly to 0.27%. It's still up above, actually, let's refresh this page and let's check this page is correct here. Just above $27,000, $27,130, up 4% in the last week. It's been a nice move so far this week. Yesterday we did see a nice move to the upside and we're all very, very happy about it. Ethereum is up 0.5% in the last 24, down 0.5% in the last 24 hours as well, to 1,643, but it's still up 2% within the last week, so it's not all bad in the world of crypto. It's a negative 24 hours, but it's not going to undo all of the gains we made yesterday as of yet. Let's see what the biggest gainers of the day are. We're looking at TON, we're looking at Solana, we're looking at Helium. We're looking at Litecoin. Now, these are pretty surprising tokens here, actually. Litecoin is one of the tokens that have been removed from that New York green list, which we will be discussing in just a second. Solana is a token of which FTX hold a huge amount of their market cap, and the FTX have been given permission to liquidate those assets. So I was expecting a lot of fear in Solana. There's a lot of selling pressure that could be coming to Solana. So seeing a 3% gain is pretty shocking here. If we take a look at what's gone on here, when FTX collapsed in November last year, we saw a massive dump in the price of Solana. Now, there were altcoins that got hit negatively from FTX's collapse, but Solana specifically got hit because of the amount of Solana FTX hold. And now there's been a few months that have passed since then. We're almost a year after FTX's collapse, and the FTX do still hold their Solana tokens, but they've just been given permission to liquidate those assets. So now more than ever, that fear and FUD that was spreading in November is what I expected to be spreading right now. I've heard a lot of people are choosing to open short positions on this, but the price has moved upwards in the last 24 hours. That is very, very surprising here this morning. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that. I tend to try and stay away from shorting tokens because I like to be bullish on the markets, and sitting in a short for a long period of time is not something I'm 100% comfortable with. And other than that, though, I did short a token on Sunday. That Martini guy was discussing it on his Twitter page, and I thought I'd have a little bit of a dabble, and I made some nice profits off that. So maybe shorting is the new longing for the time being. Now, I'm sure the bull market will be back soon. Let's check everything's running smoothly on my end. It looks like things are running smoothly. Oh, it's been an absolute mess here on this stream this morning. It's not working as planned. Let's try and pull this up. I'm in the live chat now. I can see what's going on. Good evening from Australia. Good evening. What we need to do is we need to put a thumbnail on today's stream because it's not uploaded. So there we go. Hopefully we'll get some more people joining today's stream now. Let me just sort this out a second. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's click on here today. Right, okay, we're ready to go now. We're ready for action. Let's talk about what's happened to XRP, Litecoin, and over 24 other projects here. So they've been moved off the New York Department of Financial Services green list. Now, a green list, we can just see here, it was created by the DFS regulator for crypto supervision purposes. So, DFS license holders had the approval to list and custody tokens on the green list using a self-certification system. So basically, it just means that if your token is on the green list, it's much easier for other companies to start have custody of these projects. So it just creates a little bit of regulation and a little bit of ease around that regulation, simple guidelines to follow. But we've seen over 24 altcoins being removed from this list, including Dogecoin, including LTC. Now, this doesn't change, as XRP enthusiasts have pointed out, it doesn't change XRP's licenses in New York. So we can see here from a tweet, to clarify, Ripple does not lose a license in New York, nor any Ripple entity. NYDFs license holders may only custody digital assets on the approved DFS list. XRP, the digital asset, was removed from that list today. So it just makes it more difficult for projects to actually be holding these tokens, but it's still very, very easy to do so. Let's take a look at what is going on here. We have a new list of tokens for the green list, and it's pretty interesting here. So what we have here is Bitcoin is up there, Ethereum is up there, Gemini dollar is up there. Fast forwarding a few, we've got Pax Gold, Pax Dollar, and PayPal Dollar. So what we are seeing here is PayPal launched a stablecoin just a couple of weeks ago, and now they are on the green list from New York. We are seeing them being fully regulated, and what we are seeing there is a huge advantage for PayPal over the other stablecoin issuers. We do have a couple of other stablecoins on that list, but we are seeing PayPal being a high flyer in the markets at the moment, trying to get Bitcoin to be a global currency and having their USD stablecoin regulated in the state of New York. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. This is a pretty interesting news story, but it's nothing to be concerned of, I don't believe. It may cause some FUD around the markets, but once you look into it a little bit deeper, it's not too concerning. It's just around regulation, the clarity of regulation, and the difficulty to be regulated in certain regions there. But let's continue on to the next article here and see what else is going on. We've got some more positive news here today. Ethereum could be reaching $800 billion market cap by 2025, and that would bring it to around $6,650 per Ethereum. Now, in my opinion, I'm expecting the Bitcoin halving to trigger a bull market, and if that is the case and the bull market lasts as long as they typically last, we're looking at highs in 2025. So $6,650 could potentially be a realistic target in my opinion. But seeing as I believe that there could be a Bitcoin bull market top, a crypto bull market top in the end of 2025, I'm looking at around August, September 2025. That means that $6,650 could be around those highs, and I would be very happy with that price movement, to be honest. What's Ethereum currently trading at? Let's take a look at the markets tab here quickly. Ethereum is currently at 1,643, so we're looking at a 4x from here. Wouldn't be too much to complain about realistically. A lot of people are saying much higher. I've seen price targets of $20,000 for Ethereum for the next bull market. I think there's some interesting things to be looking at here. I will actually go through a deep dive of my Bitcoin and cryptocurrency 4-year cycle analysis at the end of today's stream, because I've not done that in a while. I don't really like to be throwing out price predictions personally for the top of the bull market. I know you can have a look at the charts and try and predict it and move it across, but I like to look at time frames more. And I find that a lot more useful because it means that I don't get as sentimental. I don't get as emotional. I just look at the time frames. I know what period of time we are in. And I know that now is an accumulation phase if everything goes to plan. And I know that in months to come, that's time to be taking profits no matter the price. That's what I will be doing. But I will show you what my analysis is at the end of today's stream. We haven't done that in a while. We'll run through Bitcoin on those bigger time frames and see what's really going on there. And I'll talk you through what I'm planning to do with my portfolio over the next couple of years. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news though. So Holesky, which is an Ethereum testnet, essentially a dupe of the Ethereum network on which you can get dupes of the Ethereum token, which are completely free. You don't really sell them for anything typically, and you can deploy your project onto a testnet, check that it all runs smoothly, and once you're happy with it, you can deploy it onto the actual Ethereum network, the mainnet. If you want to learn more about testnets and mainnets, make sure to go to the A to Z page on Crypto Saving Expert, and we explain it all a little bit more in detail there. But what you can see here is they failed to launch Holesky. So what's happened here is Ethereum core developers team have faced an unexpected setback on Friday as their highly anticipated new test network encountered difficulties during its launch. Now, obviously, Ethereum recently moved, 1 year ago, moved from proof of work to proof of stake, and with that, they've had to create all new test nets. There's been a small amount published so far that we can use, but we are seeing more being built and hopefully launching within the next couple of weeks. And that just makes it easier for developers to check on their projects and make sure everything is running exactly as they had planned. Let's see what's going on. Jason Smith says accumulation and learning phase of the cycle. Yes, 100%. During a bear market, it is time to build. If you're looking to build a project, it is time to learn. If you're looking to really be involved in the next bull market, I personally got involved during a bull market for cryptocurrency, and there's so much going on. Everybody is shouting about everything. It can be so overwhelming. And during the bear markets, nobody's shouting about anything. It's a time where you can focus, you can learn, and you can educate yourself and prepare yourself for the bull market, because in the bull market, everything is chaotic. There's projects flying up and down everywhere, and trying to catch them without that education in your back pocket is pretty difficult. So educating yourself right now is really, really important. And as Jason says, if you haven't checked out Crypto Saving Expert Plus for learning, then you need to do so. Make sure to go to CSE, cryptosavingexpert.com, and check out the CSE Plus section. You get access to our amazing cryptocurrency courses and guides there as well. Let's see what else is going on in the crypto news. So still talking about what's going on with Binance here. The SEC created a lawsuit with Binance at the start of this year, and since then, it's been a bit of a rough road. Binance have received a huge amount of FUD, as they typically do during the low prices for Bitcoin, and the SEC have been saying they've not cooperated with them enough. So what happened was the SEC requested that the court grant an inspection into the ongoings at Binance's American subsidiary, so Binance.US, but the SEC got their request denied. So we can see here, the SEC has asked the court to grant an inspection into Binance US, asking the court also to abolish the exchange's halt-hearted objections. The regulator is stepping up its case against Binance US branch by attempting to gain a legal right to investigate the inner workings of the exchange. They've said Binance US is not cooperating, and we are seeing a huge amount of executives leaving Binance US at this point in time. However, the courts denied the SEC access to inspect Binance US in this manner. So this is a win for Binance in a sense. So far, the SEC can research Binance and try and look into them, but there's a certain extent to what they can go to, because for Binance US to produce every single document or information the SEC are requesting from them, it takes a lot of time. And there's a limit on how much they can request. So Binance is saying, come on, you're asking for details that aren't necessary in this investigation. And the courts have granted in favor of Binance here and said, look, you don't need to look into this information in any more detail. You've got your lawsuit, build with it in the way that you want, but you can't ask for any more detail on this information right now. Let's see what else is going on here. Still on the topic of Ethereum, Whale purchases $150 million in call options on Ethereum. So the crypto whale has set big on Ethereum, placing a $150 million bet on the number 2 cryptocurrency asset. So Ethereum has seen significant activity from a whale investor. They purchased nearly 92,600 Ethereum. And what we can see here is that it indicates a bullish outlook for the long term. Now, one thing I would like to look at here is BTC, Ethereum versus BTC. Now, I saw somebody mentioning this morning, but I didn't get a chance to look at the chart, so we can look at it together. Let's take a look at this. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. What we've had here on this chart is a downtrend with Ethereum against Bitcoin. Now, when this chart is moving to the downside, Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum, and when this chart is moving to the upside, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. Now, the chart is moving to the downside, so Bitcoin is clearly outperforming Ethereum here, and this is something that I expect to continue right now. So we can see here, I would say we are in a descending wedge right now. We do have some more possibility of a move to the downside. This is why I typically hold a huge portion of Bitcoin at this point in time. Interesting fact. So I've been looking at what goes on in the markets, and I know a lot of people that follow us are very much involved in altcoins and very excited about the potential of altcoins. I am very much also excited about the potential in altcoins, and there are huge bargains in the markets right now. I've been taking a look at how altcoins have performed against Bitcoin prior to the Bitcoin halving in previous cycles, and even those top projects that I've been looking at, the majority of them do actually get outperformed by Bitcoin until the Bitcoin halving hits. So it's really interesting to take a look at these charts. Say you're looking at Litecoin, for example. If you take a look at LTC Bitcoin, and you take a look at what that chart did in the previous cycle, just before the Bitcoin halving, some of the projects that I were looking at didn't outperform Bitcoin in the previous 2 cycles until that Bitcoin halving hit. And that's when we've really seen the altcoins explode. Now we're seeing something similar here with Ethereum. Ethereum is being outperformed by Bitcoin right now. This may not continue until the Bitcoin halving, but right now, Bitcoin is looking pretty strong against the rest of the market. So right now, my portfolio is reflecting that. Now, I'm not saying you should do that as well, but that is something I am taking note of. I like to hold Bitcoin when I'm investing in altcoins. I'm doing it so that I can try and build my Bitcoin holdings even more all of the time. I like the altcoins, and I see longevity in many altcoins, but my end goal is always to put my profits back into Bitcoin, because I'm trying to build a solid Bitcoin bag, and that takes patience, that takes a lot of time, but to do that, and to still have exposure to the cryptocurrency space, I like to move some of my Bitcoin into altcoins, have them outperform Bitcoin, and then move it back into Bitcoin again, so I end up with more Bitcoin overall. But that's not an easy task. It is a big challenge. And what we are seeing here is Ethereum and many of the altcoins are being outperformed by Bitcoin, so I'm holding on to my Bitcoin for the time being, and at some point later down the line, throughout the next 6 to 12 months, I'll be looking to really diversify that once again and take advantage of some altcoin gains. But right now, even though it may be the lows for some of the altcoins, if Bitcoin looks like it can outperform them, I like to take on that lower risk asset and take those higher rewards where possible. I always just feel safer when my portfolio is in Bitcoin though. When I'm really diversified, I feel so nervous about it, and I get emotional about my trades, and that is something that I always try and avoid, because that just makes me worse off. Even if it's not categorically the worse off, it just makes me a worse trader. So I try and be as least emotional as possible, and to be less emotional, I need to be holding Bitcoin essentially, or be less diversified. Let's see what's going on in the crypto news. Jason Smith says, bear markets are a great time to learn, and most importantly, practice your learnings. Bear markets allow you a time to hone your market analysis skills in time for the big game. Pro football players don't just show up for the finals. Very, very true. James says, well said, Mr. Smith. If you do want to educate yourself about the cryptocurrency space, make sure to check out Crypto Saving Expert. Make sure to tune into these live streams every single day, and make sure to give us a like on today's stream. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news, and then we'll get back to the analysis. Slightly sidetracked there. Elizabeth Warren's crypto bill backed by 9 other senators. So let's see what this is. She's known for her anti-crypto stance after several public comments against the industry, and now she has planned a bill to place cryptocurrency under strict anti-money laundering laws and regulations. So she said crypto is enabling rogue nations, drug lords, ransomware gangs, and fraudsters to launder billions in stolen funds, evade sanctions, fund illegal weapons programs, and profit from devastating cyber attacks. Now, I would like to say I don't agree with the majority that this woman has said about cryptocurrency. There are problems in the cryptocurrency space, and we do have concerns about money laundering and other problems within the cryptocurrency space, and we can all clearly identify where cryptocurrency gives criminals or malicious actors an advantage. That is obvious. We have privacy coins, we have cryptocurrency mixers. We have ways in which you can remove any trail of where your money has come from in cryptocurrency, and you can see how malicious actors can take advantage of that. And we are all aware, we aren't naive, that these actions do take place within the cryptocurrency space. But there is a lot more to crypto than that. Now, I'm not against regulation because of this. Creating AML and KYC protocols in cryptocurrency, yes, it could eliminate some of these problems. But overall, I think we need to focus on the benefits that are coming from cryptocurrency. Yes, there are some problems, but the regulators are just trying to halt the growth of the industry rather than trying to help it adapt and become the best it can be, especially in the US, in my opinion. And if that happens, I do believe the US will be falling behind here. Now, she has 9 others backing her bill right now, but we'll see how this plays out. We also have some really positive people within government in the US, so we'll see how that plays out. Let's move on to the next article here and see what else is going on. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. New York Regulator proposes stricter rules for listing and delisting crypto assets. So Vault Initiative is focused on establishing the DFS as the leading cryptocurrency regulator in the US. Now, would this be beneficial? This would be really interesting. So the DFS would, if they were to fully regulate cryptocurrency, it could solve a lot of the problems. Let me have a sip of my coffee here. So right now we're seeing problems in the cryptocurrency space because the SEC are trying to regulate cryptocurrencies, saying they're securities. The CFTC are trying to regulate cryptocurrencies, saying they're commodities. And we're seeing the DFS now getting involved as well. But if we can have the DFS completely regulate cryptocurrencies, or any other regulatory body, if they made a new one, that would be fine too, to regulate cryptocurrencies, it would stop that overlap and all of those problems over who should be regulating the space. We're seeing a lot of problems in the space right now. The SEC are targeting many different projects and cryptocurrency exchanges. And the main battle we're facing in cryptocurrency is that we don't actually believe the SEC should be regulating the majority of these tokens, or many people, or these projects don't believe that. So that's the main issue that's happening in the US. It's not what the regulation is, it's who's regulating. And if they are regulating, they're regulating, the projects don't believe they should be regulated by the SEC. So that's the main problem there, and that's why a lot of cryptocurrency projects are being accused of being unregistered securities, because they don't believe they should be securities. They are securities, so that they should be regulated, and the SEC do believe they should be regulated because they do believe they're securities. So it's not actually the regulation that's the problem, it's who's regulating right now. Let's move on to the next article though. FTX sues SBF's parents. So Sam Bankman-Fried's parents have been sued. They're trying to recover millions of dollars that have been spent in a way that they believe shouldn't have. Now we've seen Joseph Bankman withdraw $6.7 million, and we are seeing the filing states that $6.7 million was withdrawn from his FTX US exchange account to bank accounts held jointly by Bankman and Fried. Therefore, the cash will be viewable upon inspection of the joint account held by SBF's parents. Now, SBF and FTX seem to be moving money in some pretty funky ways during the last couple of months of them being live and as a fully functioning centralized exchange. Now FTX are trying to get as much liquid assets as possible. The more assets they have, the better they have a chance of moving forward. FTX is in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This does not mean that they are a completely dead company. This means they are trying to reorganize their assets so they can start to rebuild and move forward. The new CEO has actually stated they are not ruling out the idea of launching as a new cryptocurrency exchange once again. So having as many liquid assets as possible is really important for FTX to continue to grow if they do choose to go down that avenue. But yeah, the point is they're trying to get as many liquid assets as possible because they want to do something. We just don't know what's to come from that company yet. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. What we are going to do now to finish off today's stream is we are going to do a deep analysis into the price of Bitcoin in the long term. I want to talk about what's going on with the Bitcoin cycles, what I think could be happening here. Let me make sure that you can see what I can see here. Let me sign in to TradingView again because it loves to log me out on this computer. Very frustrating. Let me log in there. Let's see if that has worked. I'm not a robot. I always get these wrong. Let's see if we can get this right. While we're waiting, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Let's see what I'm signing up here instead of logging in. That's not the right thing to do. In fact, is it just going to let me see the charts now? Let's see if we can just see the charts now. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. Here we go. We're in. We're not logged in, but we're in. So we can take a look at BTC USD. So we're looking at Bitstamp here. If we go to the monthly chart, you can see that we have all of the data here. Where has reset price data? Very, very low. So what you can see here is Bitcoin moves in 4-year cycles. We all know this by now. We have the Bitcoin halvings. In fact, let me pull this out and put Bitcoin halvings in there, and we should be able to see the Bitcoin halving events. Oh, you can't use indicators unless you're logged in. So what we can see is Bitcoin halvings typically trigger the next bull market. The next Bitcoin halving is predicted to be in April 2024. So I'll draw the line on for us here. It's going to be around this period here. Now, Bitcoin halvings are when the block reward for miners half. So it's currently at 6.25 Bitcoin per block. It's then going to move to 3.125 Bitcoin per block in April 2024. It's expected to be around the end of April 2024. What we do know is we have some decisions from the SEC coming in March 2024 about the Bitcoin ETFs. And we've seen a lot of excitement around that. So I'm looking at what's happening in the markets right now, and I'm seeing that we could be setting ourselves up for some nice movement. Now, I would like to say that in previous Bitcoin bull markets, we don't create a new all-time high until after the Bitcoin halving. So I believe we have a pretty big ceiling on where we can move for the next couple of months. Now, it's currently September. We've got until April. We've got September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8 months here. So I'm expecting here to see a lot more sideways action, unfortunately. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but that is what I'm looking at here. What we are seeing is typically, we see a new all-time high just a couple of months after the Bitcoin halving. So I'm looking at around August, September. I'm looking at around here when we're going to be retesting these levels at $70,000. And next year, I'm talking. And then we have also the Bitcoin bull markets typically last around 1.5 years after the Bitcoin halving. So if we pull that up as well, if we go to 1.5 years, well, that's going to make it difficult, isn't it? Because it's written in days. So we're looking at around May, June, July, August, September, October. We're looking at around October 2025. Now, obviously, this bull market might be different. I just like to look at the previous patterns and project it onto what's happening this period of time. If things were to run exactly like they were last bull market, typically, I'm expecting to see some sideways action. We usually see a pretty rough time just before the Bitcoin halving. It likes to scare us all. It likes to make us all jump and feel a bit like we should have weak hands and maybe sell a little bit. So I'm expecting a little bit of a dip just before that Bitcoin halving. Then we might see those ETFs start to kick things off again. We get that Bitcoin halving. And then if things move like they typically do, we could be seeing a nice move to the upside to that all-time high for around August, October next year, and then we could continue on to higher prices until we reach what I'm expecting to be the peak of the bull market, which could be around October 2025, and then we may see some downwards action for another couple of years before we continue to the upside. I am very much long-term bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not looking when I'm looking at 2025 bull market, I just don't believe in hyper bull markets. I know there's a lot of opinions on this. You can debate that as much as you want. There are many different views on this, and mine may not be correct. In fact, we don't know what's going to happen, but I personally don't believe we will see a hyper bull market where we see the bull market continue for years and years and years just yet. I think that will take a little bit longer. So yes, I am very much long-term bullish. I'm bullish for 2025, but that doesn't mean that I'm not expecting a little bit of a dip in 2026, 2027. But that's what I'm looking at. Very far ahead thinking there. So far, I'm looking at very bullish price action next year and the year after, and I'm very much looking forward to that if it does happen. So we'll be doing these live streams every single day, keeping you up to date on what's going on with the cryptocurrency news and what's going on with the price of Bitcoin. So make sure to stay tuned. That is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching.